Welcome. Now you are going to listen to a ReputationUP podcast. Let's get started. Crisis management. What it is and how to solve a reputational crisis. This new guide shows you everything you need to know about the crisis management procedure. First, I will explain you what it is, the meaning and the most striking examples. Then, I will help you prepare a communication plan and define the best strategy to understand how to solve a reputational crisis. Crisis Management 101. In this chapter I will help you clarify the basics. If you are not sure that your brand or company is ready for a crisis management operation, this chapter will take you on the right path. Then, in the next few chapters, I will show you examples, procedures, plans and advanced strategies. What is crisis management? Those who deal with crisis management in any public or private entity, perform the delicate task of creating a business plan that they need to quickly implement in the event of a reputational crisis. What is a reputational crisis? It is a negative event that threatens to damage the image of the organization itself and its entire commercial, economic and financial chain. Brands that constantly carry out a web reputation analysis are more ready to face the crisis than others. What is the definition of crisis management? With the expression crisis management we tend to indicate that set of strategies implemented by an organization to face a reputation crisis. Why is it important to have a crisis management strategy? According to the U.S. Department of Internal Security, the crisis management is the planning that reveals common sense in business. Although each situation is unique, any organization can be better prepared if it carefully plans and puts in place emergency procedures and practices against threats of all kinds. Crisis management and social media, an ideal scenario. In late Latin the scenarium was the space for scenes which the Cambridge Dictionary defines as follows. A description of possible actions or events in the future. This is exactly what happens on social networks, where truth does not exist. The perceived truth triumphs, built through rhetorical artifices of words and images, articles, photos, videos. Social media represents the ideal scenario for a reputation crisis to take root, develop and spread every sector of the institution involved. Increasingly, crises are induced by expert hands, with the aim of destroying you and taking your market share. The technique used to stimulate an online reputation crisis is to cause and feed a negative event by spreading fake news, fake videos, harmful links, defamatory articles, controversial images, false or negative reviews. Other result, the true truth is manipulated and the perceived truth produces a hostile sentiment towards the victim. The question is not whether or not the victim is an example of morality. We are not here to judge anyone. We are interested in investigating how dangerous it is to deprive yourself of a strategy to prevent, deal with, manage and turn to your favor the collapse of your online reputation, on social media and search engines. This is why it is essential to know the playing field, the actors involved and the main rule. Nothing is as it seems. The only certainty is the data you see in this picture. Private and public entities, therefore companies, brands, professionals, politicians, parties, banks, private clinics, accumulate millions of euros in losses every year, due to the lack of a crisis management strategy. Negative examples of crisis management. In a world where every seller is longing for the trust of his buyers, few remember the saying. Prevention is better than cure. Working hard to gain market share and then collapse due to the incapacity to manage a crisis is something for beginners. In this chapter I will show you some negative examples of crisis management. If you think protecting your reputation is expensive, try with a bad reputation. Even in 2020, and more generally in the hyper-connected society, everyone tries to conquer the most precious diamond, consumers' trust. Banks which are lacking in reputation management yearn for the trust of current account holders. Hospitals and private clinics elbow to earn the trust of patients. The big brands struggle to win the trust of customers. Industrial groups work hard to gain the trust of the institutions. politicians and parties are scrambling to win the trust of citizens. And then, everyone discovers that success is ephemeral. A gust of wind, or rather a shitstorm, is enough to ruin your reputation in business. Dolce & Gabbana Crisis Management. How to destroy in a couple of seconds your image in the immense Chinese market. The infamous Canolo spot lasts so long. November 2018. On the occasion of the fashion show in Shanghai, the D&G Maison launches an advertisement that, rather than amusing the public, offends the entire Chinese community with a devastating mix of sexism and stereotypes. The scandal explodes on Weibo and the video is successively removed from it. An important fashion journalist asks Stefano Gabbana about the campaign, directly via Instagram. The stylist thinks well to respond to criticism with a series of epithets on the "China is a country of shit, ignorant, dirty-smelling mafia." The conversation is screened and shared by Diet Prada, the web's most feared fashion Instagram account, 1.3 million followers. The Chinese government officially cancels the fashion show. Loss for D&G, €20 million. The group declares that Stefano Gabbana's account has been hacked, but the perceived truth is another. Nobody believes the D&G version. The largest Chinese retailers, YNAP, Tmall, Seiko, Xiaohongshu and JD.com, suspend sales of D&G products. Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana make a video apology, which in the eyes of the Chinese is not enough to repair the damage. Final result: D&G risks losing the Chinese market, which is worth 30% of its turnover, €1.3 billion, 2017 data. And if you do the math, the fashion company would burn €400 million. Dolce & Gabbana could avoid such a disaster if they had structured a crisis management plan, carried out a reputation risk analysis, Autostrade per liter Italian crisis management. Genoa, August 14, 2018, 11:36 a.m. The Palcavere Viaduct collapses on the A10 motorway. The Benettins control 88% of Autostrade per liter Italia through Atlantia. In the hours and days following the tragedy, the group demonstrates unpreparedness in managing a sudden crisis. The first press release, which arrives 5 hours after the event, forgets the 39 victims and tends to de-responsibilize. Social media becomes inflamed, and after another 4 hours the second release, this time of condolence, appears. On August 15, the day after the tragedy, the Benetton family met to celebrate in Cortina during Ferragosto festivity. A catastrophe. The protest stirs up the media and the Benettins accuse the backlash. Atlantia shares sink. Moral of the tragedy: even a large industrial group like the Benettins makes the macroscopic error of not planning a crisis management strategy or not using a reputation monitoring tool. 5 stars movement crisis management. Reno 4 Marca stated, "Politics is made of blood and shit. And in politics the little hands that act to ruin a competitor's reputation are always ready to strike." It is surprising, however, that the vaunted digital 5-star movement is paying the price, especially since its public relations go through Casaleggio Associati, a consulting firm that develops strategies for firms that offer internet-based investments. Yet Giulia Sardi is a victim of sextortion and Rocco Casalino of a series of scandals that affect his credibility and authority. The splashes of mud dirty the image of the entire movement, which begins its waning phase precisely in conjunction with the Sardi-Casalino affair. Final result: in the last European elections the M5's party takes the biggest bang of all time, Raf. Di Battista, with 6 million fewer votes in 1 year. A real paradox. The digital party born on the web discovers the bitter taste of defeat due to a badly managed online reputation crisis. Considering the most appropriate political declarations to make to earn votes, the 5-star movement collapses, due to the lack of a crisis management plan and a reputation risk analysis. Today the election victory depends on the so-called reputation score. Artificial intelligence algorithms and tools optimize the candidate's image through posts, releases, rallies, public statements, interviews, TV appearances, posters. Others. How to develop a crisis management plan in 7 steps. Now it's time to take action. In this chapter we explore how to develop a 7-step crisis management plan and prevent a reputational crisis. I will use the previous examples to better explain the expressed concepts. 1. Assess potential risks. Potential risks can include communication errors, gaffes on social media, market withdrawal, cyber attacks, data breaches, media/judiciary scandals, accidents at work. Other. Much depends on your industry. If you are a political party, a potential risk means a media/judicial scandal against one of your representatives, which can determine his listing by PEP data providers such as WorldCheck. 2. Determine any impact on your business. The BIA, Business Impact Analysis, investigates how much your business can lose in terms of customer dissatisfaction, damage to image/reputation, revenue decrease, costs increase, fines, judiciary actions. Other. If you are a political party and your representative is overwhelmed by a sexual scandal, your image, reputation will be damaged and this will undermine the satisfaction of your customer, elector. 3. Identify the actions to be taken. For each risk, impact variable, you will identify the best possible option. Taking as an example the party facing sexual harassment allegations that undermines the voters' confidence, you will work both from a legal, to evaluate any complaints, and the reputation intelligence point of view, to understand who speaks bad of you and why. Only by doing so, you will be able to send the right message to your voters so that they will listen, understand and accept not only the detractors' belief, but also your truth. Having an expert company like ReputationUP behind you makes actions effective, fast and safe, especially when you need to clean up your reputation. 4. Plan building. The scheme is a simple matrix, to be filled as if it were a template in Excel. Action 1 corresponds to risk 1 with impact A, and so on. 5. Assign key roles in the company. Every employee involved in crisis management operations must know exactly what to do, when, how, why, whom you can relate. In the example of the political party, you will identify 1 or more members of the press and communication team who will respond politely and precisely to the protests of fans, followers and haters. 6. Train your employees. Offer the right tools and you will have an effective team. The best solution is a training service on reputation, so that the employees involved will react to stress in cold blood. Those who are prepared will know how to face it. 7. Keep your plan updated. Is it really necessary that someone reminds us that what was valid in 2000 today counts less than 0 today? The crisis management procedure. You can afford the luxury of activating the crisis management procedure to face the crisis successfully only through a written plan and a structured strategy. In this chapter I will show you when and how to implement the plan that you have prepared. When is a crisis management procedure activated? The obvious answer would be, in case of a crisis. Okay. But the most forward-looking and performing companies are those that sniff the air and intercept the signs of a potential danger before it blows up. Today there are sophisticated artificial intelligence tools that analyze the sentiment of your corporate or personal brand. If you are a young startup with little cash flow or a novice digital entrepreneur, you can use the free tools, such as Google Alerts. Just enter the query to monitor and activate the receipt of email notifications every time the query is mentioned. Obviously the alerts service only monitors the pages indexed by Google. And since social posts and comments are excluded from Google's crawler, you won't be able to know who is talking badly about you on social media. Identifying sudden flows of negative citations in a specific area affected by your business will cause you to be on the lookout and examine what is happening or could happen. Understanding this in time represents the demarcation line between successful prevention and an expensive reputational crisis. How to activate a crisis management procedure. When you decide to push the red activation button, turn on the entire team of internal resources that will make up the supposed crisis cabinet. The structure is pyramidal. Without a command deck, the boat sinks. This must be clear. The company crisis is one of those moments when democracy is useless and overrated. The 4 cornerstones that make a crisis management procedure effective are: move forward quickly and decisively, ensure team safety, be available and physically present in the place of crisis, ensure that the flow of information is constant. How to solve an online reputation crisis. How to act when the attack starts from the web. In this chapter I will present to you the checklist prepared by Andrea Baggio, CEO of ReputationUP. So let's see how to solve an online reputation crisis through the eyes of an industry expert. Follow the checklist of an experienced reputation manager. Surfing the web is not a saying. It is reality. Because the web is like a wave for the surfer. You know it can make you touch the sky with a finger, but you also know that it can slam you into the foam. Everything can happen in a matter of seconds. The same time it takes to put an article, a video, an image or a post online. According to Andrea Baggio, CEO of ReputationUP and Reputation Manager, to solve an online reputation crisis you must analyze the situation, develop a plan, put the plan into action, take additional actions, flood the web with positive content, remove the harmful content, monitor the web. We defend the private individual and the company from reputation crises that arise from fake news or haters whose intent is only to harm the victim. Conclusions. In this guide I have shown you a series of advanced strategies to create and develop your crisis management plan. I want to emphasize that the plan must be written, printed, distributed to the team and tested. After seeing in detail the negative examples of crisis management, only an unconscious person would turn his head to the other side, crossing his fingers and hoping for luck. Let's face it, there are 2 solutions: either do it yourself or entrust your reputation to an expert. Terdim non datur. If you think this guide can also help your circle of friends and acquaintances, share it on your social profiles. It costs you nothing and it will be an honor for me. We at ReputationUP thank you for listening to this podcast. Until next time.